The Kansas City and St. Louis rivalry is set to get another chapter here today as the Swope Park Rangers welcome St. Louis FC. Both teams coming off dramatic late equalizers their last time out. They'll hope to use that momentum forward, and there's no love lost between these two. It's the Swope Park Rangers and St. Louis FC. Next. Good afternoon and welcome to a steamy Kansas City, Kansas, the site for today's matchup in the Eastern Conference USL Championship Division. It's the Swope Park Rangers taking on St. Louis FC. And we'll see if that heat can carry on to the field as well. Joined by Doug McClagan, I am Carter Augustine. We got a rivalry match on our hands here today, Doug.
Yeah, St. Louis against Kansas City is always going to be a great rivalry. St. Louis is in 10th place, Kansas City is in 18th, but it doesn't matter today because it's a rivalry and it's going to be a great game.
Really looking forward to this one, and let's check out a couple key players for each of these teams. And for the visitors, it's a bit of a goodbye. The last game in Austin Martz's professional career.
Yeah, he's been with the club in the last 2 years. He's only got 2 assists to his name, but he's leaving tonight, and the coach has been giving him a nice gesture, said you're going to start today, and hopefully for him, he has a great game. Announcing
he will be retiring at the end of this match, and you're right, Anthony Pulis putting him in the starting lineup for one last hurrah. Meanwhile, for the Swope Park Rangers, maybe the juice is flowing for Mark Segbers as he faces his hometown club.
Yeah, St. Louis boys, 23 years old. I shouldn't say boy because he's one of the oldest players on the Swope Park Rangers team, but just like the other fullback, he loves to get forward, great technical skills, good pace, and when he gets into the final third, he can cause some havoc.
He's been one of the real leaders for the Swope Park Rangers team this season. He'll be trying to lead them to their second win of the season. We'll have the rest of the starting lineups and kick when we come back. The Swope Park Rangers and St. Louis FC are just about set to get underway. Welcome back to Children's Mercy Park as we see some of the Luligans here for this derby matchup between Swope Park Rangers and St. Louis FC. And let's go ahead and take a look at the starting lineups for both of these teams. Starting with the away side, and Coach Anthony Pulis making 4 changes from the side that drew 2-2 with North Carolina. In comes Sean Reynolds, Albert Dikwa, Kadim Dacres and Austin Martz again, and making his last appearance as a professional, getting the start on the right wing. Meanwhile, for the home side, head coach Paulo Nagamura also making 4 changes from their 1-1 draw in Charleston last time out. Adrian Zendejas is suspended, so in comes John Poolskamp in goal. Kave Rad comes back into the back line. Ayub Alec in midfield, and Vanacore-Decker up top for the Swope Park Rangers. So they look to get this homestand started. 5 of the next 6 are at home, including today's game for head coach Paulo Nagamura. 7 of 9 points have come at home this season for the Swope Park Rangers, so they will hope to add to that point tally over the next 6 games or so. Meanwhile, for the away side, Anthony Pulis led St. Louis to their first playoff appearance last season. They switched conferences, but they'll be looking to do the same this season and well on their way. In 10th at the moment, but have played the least amount of games in the Eastern Conference. We'll be looking to try and catapult up the table here today in what could be an intense game on the field. And Doug McClagan, it could be a draining one as well. 91 degrees at kick, and with the conditions, feels like 99 degrees for this rivalry matchup.
Oh, nasty, nasty. It's not as bad as it was yesterday, so that's the positive.
There's a positive.
But yeah, I don't know if I'd like to play in this weather. It's going to be draining. We may see a hydration break today, I would think.
You would have to think so. And we should see 2 teams really going for it in this one. The Swope Park Rangers, St. Louis FC. It's Kansas City versus St. Louis. We'll see if the hot temperatures are matched by the temperature on the pitch here today.
Fuck's sake.
Goalkeeper's been told to take his towel off the goal. Took it off the goal. Now he's saying, can you take it out of the goal?
So after that slight delay, we are finally ready and underway here in Kansas City, Kansas at Children's Mercy Park. A beautiful venue befitting this rivalry game between teams from Kansas City and St. Louis. The Swope Park Rangers starting with possession, going from left to right in their traditional dark blue with orange trim. St. Louis, the visitors, coming to Kansas City wearing the all-white.
St. Louis usually comes out in a 4-4-2 formation, and it's looking like it's the same again here, with Greg and Dacres up front.
Spin passes all along the back line so far for the Swope Park Rangers. Just trying to coax St. Louis FC up the pitch here in the early stages, and it's a turnover forced high up the pitch. Kyle Gregg now getting on the ball on the right side. The left foot in towards the 6-yard box, and Kave Rad puts his hands together in frustration as he can only clear that out for a corner.
Yeah, that was not the best clearance. Hopefully that will be his worst one for today. Happens in the first minute, unfortunately. That gives a set piece to St. Louis, which I think they're going to be dangerous on this set pieces. The top goal scorer is Sam Fink. That's a central defender. So I'm assuming most of his goals have probably come from set pieces.
Of course, he's the penalty kick taker as well, but they are formidable in set pieces. St. Louis FC. Here's first corner of the game, curled in towards the near post, cleared only towards the edge of the area. Martz back out wide, and it's a good delivery in towards the box. Poolskamp is all over it. It's in the back of the net, but it's offside on that second phase of the set piece situation.
Yeah, very dangerous ball in, but fortunately that flag went up because Poolskamp could not hold on to that cross. You've got 3 Swope Park Rangers on top of him, which is going to tell me that you've probably got less numbers in the box for Swope Park Rangers. Fortunately, looks like just maybe a step offside.
So early moments of danger there for the visitors, coming from set piece situations. Now they're back in possession. Moving from left back inside to the center back. This is a formidable center back partnership, Fanuel Kavita and Sam Fink. One of the top defenses in the entire USL Championship. Only conceded 13 goals so far, which is tied for third best. Some early time on the ball here for St. Louis. Lewis Hilton, their main playmaker in the middle of the pitch. Trying to get on the ball here in the early stages. And Bradley Camden-Feo with an apology to his teammates there. Swope Park Rangers now with the throw. Early foul. Get a chance to see our center referee here. Laurent Varga, man in the middle. One high up the pitch by Hilton, and back to his center midfield partner, Guy Abend. St. Louis FC will restart it in attack. It's a good ball out to the right-hand side. A good take from Martz. Cutting inside, and the double team from Swope Park Rangers. And McKaylee and Alexander able to win that away. And now Will Little will try and sprint into the open space on the right-hand side.
He's got nowhere to go, so he's going to have to turn around and keep possession. I think you're going to see a lot of possession from both teams today, because in this heat, they're not going to want to run all around the field and go crazy. So you'll see a lot of slow build-up, moving the ball from side to side, looking for those gaps to penetrate, to play through the lines. And if it's not on, they'll come back and they'll keep it most of the time.
As we're seeing here from the Swope Park Rangers, Cousin, Rad, and now over to Graham Smith, making his 10th start. Baloney from the Sporting Kansas City first team, wearing the captain's armband again here today. Swope Park Rangers. Now McKaylee looking to go one-on-one. Slides it back for Alak, who has a goal from distance. Just bouncing and causing Tomas Gomez to maybe take a second closer look at this one.
Yeah, I don't think he actually got a clean strike on it, but it was a little dangerous because it was dipping right in front of the keeper. Unfortunately for him, it was off target. Fortunately for the keeper, it was off target too.
Gomez has that well covered. He's making just his second start in USL League play, Tomas Gomez, St. Louis native. But he's really played well in the US Open Cup, playing in their last 3 wins. Just missed the first round matchup against the Des Moines Menace, but was part of the St. Louis side that dispatched 2 MLS teams, Chicago Fire and FC Cincinnati.
It's absolutely tremendous, and then you do that, and now you got to go to Atlanta. Doesn't get any easier, does it? But what a fantastic run by St. Louis. That is absolutely tremendous for the city.
I'll certainly be looking forward to that tantalizing quarterfinal matchup with Atlanta United at the Mercedes-Benz Dome. They do have one more USL game after this as well, so can't quite overlook their next 2 opponents.
Ben Alex.
Alexander keeping that played and finding a good ball out to Juan Cousin, Juan Kamal. Here is Cousin. Referee talking to the St. Louis player there in the middle, Lewis Hilton. No foul was given. There will be a foul here. That's a hard knock for Felipe Hernandez to take.
Yeah, Hilton was complaining he was actually getting pulled back, and that's what he's having a word with the referee about. But this is a definite foul here. Caught him firm on the shins there. That was very painful.
This one will drift all the way back to Gomez. Tune into ESPN3 on July 3rd at 10 p.m. Central Time for Wednesday Night Soccer. Watch as 2 of the premier clubs out west duel for playoff positioning when Sacramento Republic FC welcomes Fresno FC in the Highway 99 Derby. Catch all the action July 3rd at 10 p.m. on ESPN3. Now foul against Alak in midfield, and Dacres has to pick himself up off the turf. And behind an offside against Austin Martz.
St. Louis not afraid to keep possession at the back, but every now and then they're coming in with that long ball either towards Martz or trying to hit one of the centre forwards for a flick on. So Swope Park Rangers back four have got to be just aware of that when they push that ball ahead and look long. They've got to drop off a couple yards and be ready for that ball coming in.
Well, for as good as their defense has been, they have had some struggles on the offensive side. St. Louis FC near the bottom of the USL Championship in terms of shots. Of course, they have played fewer games than most other teams, but just the 16 goals scored so far in their 13 games. When you've got that rock-solid foundation as a defense, really does lend itself to carrying the St. Louis FC team into the playoff scenarios, and they'll be looking to do just that.
Yeah, and that's kind of the difference between the two teams. They've scored 16. Swope Park's only scored 18. They've given up 13, but Swope Park's given up 32, which is more than 2 goals a game. When you're only scoring 1 goal a game, that's not a good sign for them. So St. Louis will be looking to take advantage of that so-called weaker defense of Swope Park Rangers.
Zane just stepping in the way there and cuts out the pass, but good recovery this time from the right back, Sean Reynolds, making just his 8th appearance. Bit of a surprise not to see Matt Boehner in there. He is available on the bench here today.
Yeah, but like you said, I think they've had a lot of games in the last 2 weeks. And,
really have.
Especially being in the Open Cup too. So, yeah, that's probably why they've made 4 changes, because they've got some more games coming up pretty soon too. So, and not a massive roster either.
Anthony Pulis was talking about that in the week for St. Louis. They were really happy to actually get a full week of training, as they had 5 games in 15 days just before that. And before that, they had 3 weeks without a game. So it's been a bit of a topsy-turvy scheduling season for St. Louis. I guess those games get added when you keep winning games in the Open Cup. Nice problem to have for Anthony Pulis and this St. Louis FC's team. There's a good tackle. Mark Segbers, St. Louis native.
Yeah, he should be excited about playing today. Grew up in St. Louis, played for Scott Gallagher, I believe, so he'll be excited about playing against the St. Louis team and hopefully coming away with a victory today.
Well, how many players have come through the ranks at Scott Gallagher? There's a couple on display for the Rangers here today. You mentioned Mark Segbers, one of those guys. It's a thumbs up from Albert Dequa, just couldn't quite catch up to that ball. It drifts out for a goal kick. Segbers won, and also Juan Kuzain. St. Louis Scott Gallagher. In his youth career from Carbondale, Illinois.
On his touch, get there on his touch, across Dequa, tight now. And again, go again,
Segbers does well to take that off the chest and maintain possession for the Rangers. Now it's over the top, and Kavita reads it poorly, so Vanacore-Decker charging into the area. Vanacore-Decker tries to go near post, and goalkeeper watched it the whole way. It's side netting, but the wrong side of the side netting.
Yeah, and you don't see that happen too often with Kavita. Just mistimed the challenge. And unfortunately, Decker could get his shoulders around the ball and goes front post, and no danger for the keeper.
Good high pressure here from the Rangers, and they win it back in the opposition half. Graham Smith popping this one over to the right-hand side with Segbers. Back now with Smith.
The trigger!
Rad pressure. Turns it over into the feet of Dacres, who's got some space in the middle of the pitch. He finds Hilton. Right-hand side now. First time cross to the back post. And it's knotted back into a dangerous position. Blocked by his own teammate. Still alive for St. Louis. And It's blocked out of play, but Lewis Hilton, hands on his head here.
Well, thank God for Kyle Gregg, because he just did some great defending for Swope Park Rangers. Great shot, oh, right on the rear end. Definitely dodged a bullet there, did Swope Park.
Might have just been sneaking wide. Can't quite tell there. Lewis Hilton not appreciative of the block by Kyle Gregg. It does wind up as the second corner of the game, though, for St. Louis. A bunch of players on the penalty spot. Stood up towards the back post. Sam Fink, the captain, able to deliver it backwards, and now it's popped in towards the area. Alexander. First touch off the head was a little loose, but good touch of the chest to keep that alive. That one just drifts beyond Vanacore-Decker and allows Kavita to step in and clear this, get rid of any danger of a counterattack.
Yeah, that was a shame, because if he would have got hold of that, he could have found Mbakeli going through, could penetrate there, and Mbakeli could have been through one-on-one with the keeper there. And unfortunately, the ball skipped over his shoulder. And interesting on that last attack, because you could hear Coach Pulis shout out triggers. And what he was telling his forwards is, you're looking for that trigger as they go across that back forward, either a bad pass or a bad touch. And then when you see that trigger, the two forwards are going high pressure, and that caused a quick turnover and a great opportunity for St. Louis. But like I said, because of Kyle Gregg, a great block on defense. So very good patient defending from St. Louis, but they know when they're going, and when they go as a unit, and that's going to cause some problems if Swope Park Rangers are not careful with that ball. Look at that for a ball.
What a pass from Kuzain, and it set Mbakeli into a really dangerous position. He tries to get a shot away. Good block by Reynolds. How about that effortless pass from Kuzain?
It's a 50 to 60 yard ball. That's just a beaut, absolute beauty. And then great dribbling there to create the opportunity, but again, great defending by Reynolds too. So 3 fantastic plays all in one.
Little gets around Camden Feo and is dragged to the ground, and you can see why Paulo Nagamura is asking for a yellow card on that play.
Yeah, I think you'd see in most games that card would come out for that, because that's just deliberately pulling him back because he beat him. 1-for-1, he beat him.
He had an opportunity to sprint away down the near touchline there, Will Little.
I don't even think he got a warning, so definitely got away with one there. Poor touch from Kuzain there.
Simple. Good.
Here, Coach Anthony Pulis liked the work there from Dacres, maintaining possession after turnover by Kuzain.
He learned some great coaching up here, because as soon as he won it, you heard him shout, simple, simple, simple. Meaning, in other words, you don't need to do anything with it, just drop, gain possession, and then we'll build up and we'll go from there.
And a pretty even matchup over the first 16 minutes or so. Possession just about 50-50, shaded 52% to St. Louis, the visitors here. The opening quarter hour.
Yeah, and that last thing I just talked about, it's so important, because a lot of young kids want to get the ball and they want to go forward immediately. And obviously, Pulis is telling his players, let's get a hold of the ball, let's make some passes, build up some possession, and then we'll penetrate and go forward that way.
Sam, look at Kadeem.
Face the ball back.
Kadeem, drop.
Front.
Yeah, second.
Looking for Vanacore-Decker and Manuel Kavita. Such a good player. He's played every minute of every game so far in the championship. Manuel Kavita, 2-year captain at Clemson. That speaks to the type of player he is.
Like you said, they're great back four, but these back two here, the two centre backs, lots of experience, 26 and 25 years old, lots and lots of experience, big, strong boys, good in the air, and both technically clean too, so tremendous pair for a centre back.
Up now for Hilton, his shot blocked away by Alak. Good turn and left foot across it towards Gregg. It's headed up, still alive in the area. Now back out, a bend. 1-2 between Marks and Reynolds doesn't quite come off, and is able to be defended out of play by Alexander.
A good ball in the box here, but a tremendous defending from Graham Smith, because Kyle Gregg is extremely dangerous in there in the air, and Smith got the challenge in and got the ball away, so very important defending there.
Spent some time away from the Rangers as he was playing games for Sporting Kansas City and MLS over the past month, but back wearing the captain's armband. Quickly restarted by Alexander after that foul, and there's plenty of space on the near side. Little, he's going to run at Camden Feo. Still a little. So, well defended in the end by Camden Feo.
Good strength there, just a little nudge off the ball and put Little off slightly, and then came away with the ball, and now they're on offense.
Straight out the other way now. Dacres trying to cross it, can't beat Graham Smith in the penalty area. It's back now with Dacres. One-on-one with Segbers, he'll go inside. Hilton. Wants to get on the ball at all times, Lewis Hilton. Now, left back, Camden Feo. Left-footed cross into the area, off the post! Oh, Kyle Gregg just inches away from giving St. Louis the lead. Still with the visitors. Hilton now, his cross blocked away. And nothing given there. Hilton wants a foul on Segbers, but the ref says play on, and it's eventually out of play for a St. Louis throw. But how close was this?
Well, it all started with a great first touch by Feo and a beautiful curling ball in, and that, like I said, he's good in the air, and it was only the goal post that kept that out for him. Tremendous effort there from Gregg.
Well, he's got one goal this season, Kyle Gregg, and it did come in the first meeting between these two teams, a 3-1 win for St. Louis. That was actually the last win in the league for St. Louis FC. And now it's won in a good position by Cousin off the toes of Hilton. Finds Hernandez in some space. Edge of the box, Hernandez! What a finish! Slots it past the sprawling goalkeeper who could only clutch at air. As Felipe Hernandez gives the Swope Park Rangers the lead.
So let me ask you this, have we ever seen him do that before? He has done that several times this year. He just finishes from distance really, really well. Good ball for Cousin. He knows what he wants to do and strikes it where the keeper just cannot get to it. Absolutely unbelievable from this player. And that's his 7th goal of the season.
What a season he is having.
Tremendous.
Felipe Hernandez really has ramped it up this year.
And we just talked about St. Louis pressuring at the right time. That's how that goal came. Swope Park Rangers decided all to go. Quick turnover. Cousin finds Hernandez, and then it's all over with that strike. And that is tremendous defending from the forwards to start off with. Great turnover and a fantastic strike.
Felipe Hernandez from Juan Cousin. Those two spent so much time in the SKC Academy playing together, so much time with the Swope Park Rangers, who, of course, made those runs to the USL Cup finals back-to-back years.
Well, how about St. Louis? 30 seconds ago, they hit the post and probably should have gone up 1-0. And like I said, 30 seconds later, they're down 1-0.
See what type of response they have now getting into the penalty area and standing it up towards the back post. Alexander just kind of dwelling on that, and it allowed for Marks to nip in, but eventually called for the foul as he tried to kick in on the ball when Poolscape had it in his grasp.
Yeah, maybe Alexander was unaware that he had Marks behind him, but you know, he knows they've got a right winger, and he just waited and waited, and you cannot do that in the 6-yard box. Fortunately, it just dropped at the goalkeeper's hands, and Marks went in a little bit late, they got a foul, but Alexander's got to be a little bit more aware of what's coming in from behind him.
Yeah, very fortunate there that John Pulskamp was able to pounce on that one.
Well, you're just saying, I wonder what St. Louis's response is going to be like. Well, that's it, and I think we're going to see a lot of that coming up here.
Now they have possession again, St. Louis FC. There's
Go Easton! Go Easton!
good 2 tackles won by Felipe Hernandez. He's charging forward. Step over. Good tackle by Kavita in his own area. Little now. Cutting it back for Kuzain on his left foot. Quite get it over to the left-hand side, but it does take a ricochet and falls to the feet of Mbakele. Mbakele past his defender, cutting it back. Defended well by Sam Fink. As the Rangers capitalizing on some good pressure. Alexander will go back now with Alak. Sloppy first touch from Alak. And Alexander able to recover. Boy, that was a 2-on-1 break for the Swope Park Rangers that just didn't quite come off after Hernandez had done so well to win 2 tackles in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, another turnover by St. Louis, and again, because of the pressure from Swope Park Rangers. Unfortunately, when Hernandez cut to the right, it was a 2v1, but unfortunately, the player supporting Will Little, was only about 5 yards away from him, so it was easier for the centre-back to defend against him. He just couldn't find that opportunity to find the open player.
Now he's found some space in the middle of the park as well, and he slots it inside left for Vanacore-Decker, trying to cut onto his right foot. Gives it back to Will Little on his left. Blocked away by Kavita. Hernandez really flowing now after that goal. And then Mbakele gets past 2 defenders. Oh, rifles a shot right at Gomez. Able to pounce on the rebound as well. A chance here for Mbakele.
Yeah, got inside of the defenders in between the two and hit a rocket. That shot was brilliant, but the save was superb.
Right in at the near post.
So we're seeing quite a few opportunities coming here for Swope Park Rangers because of turnovers. And the timing of pressure has been absolutely tremendous so far. What they've got to do is make sure those opportunities they take, they've got to put them away.
Again, that's just the 14th goal conceded all season by St. Louis.
The good thing for the Rangers is they're creating opportunities against an extremely good defense. So if they can continue to do that, you would be hoping that 1 or 2 they might find the back of the net and get a little bit of space between them and St. Louis here.
Got some defending to do now. As St. Louis have a throw on the far side, blocked away. And Mbakele doing his defensive duties. So Sean Reynolds. Another chance at a throw, and it's over the back line. Smith comes over to cover, and now Marks will try and see that out for a corner.
The linesman wants to give a foul against Marks, and the referee's going to listen to him.
Going to agree with him. St. Louis not at all happy about that.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit harsh, because obviously Marks was going to let it run out of bounds because we're going to get a corner, and I thought he was doing fine there. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you could call it a foul, and the referee did, or the linesman did, so fair enough. And here comes that water break that's going to be well needed.
Well, the goodwill from the coach, Anthony Pulis, to start Austin Marks in his last game as a professional, not extended to him by the far side AR. Calls that foul, and that will lead to this water break again. Temperature at 91 degrees at kick here. And with the humidity Feels like 99 degrees here today in Kansas City.
It's nasty, absolute nasty, and that's why you're seeing the defenses on both teams coming from up front are picking and choosing their times to go, but when they go full out, and it's caused problems for both teams. St. Louis has caused the Rangers to turn it over once or twice, and the Rangers, it's been 3 or 4 times. So, you know, they're saving their energy, but when they go all together, and it's been dangerous for both teams in the defensive thirds.
Plenty of chances being created by both of these teams here in the early stages. We'll get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for Swope Park Rangers and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus, get reminders on the Rangers' next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club.
So what I think is important for the Swope Park Rangers here, because we've seen games like this all year where they've created opportunities and they've not got that distance between the opposition. Here, if they could put a couple of those opportunities away and get a 2-0 lead or a 3-0 lead, they could be walking away with points. In previous games, it's been a 1-0 lead or a 2-1, and then the opposition has come back and tied later or even stole wins from them later on. So important if they could create those opportunities again and finish them this time, and they could walk away with a really, really needed 3 points.
They have the lead thanks to that man, number 85, Felipe Hernandez, who continues his sensational season. You mentioned it, Doug, scoring from outside of the area on frequent occasion. Just did it in the last game, actually, a late equalizer in a testy matchup out in Charleston. What a goal that was. A curler crashing in off the post, and he's just gone and matched it today with a fantastic finish from distance.
And the funny thing is the keepers know it's coming, and they still can't stop it.
Hey, where's he taking it?
A lot of complaints coming here. St. Louis, it looks like Postcamp may have moved it 10 or so yards further forward. Oh, look at this. Dacres a referee. Postcamp just threw it another 5 yards forward. So in the end, he gained 5 yards.
There it is. We're back underway. That's those shenanigans.
As you said, there's no rivalry here at all.
Hear the traveling St. Louis support cheer the replacement of that ball, and then boo the subsequent replacement.
Go Mark, go Mark. Pinch inside us,
Back now, John Poolskamp will slide it over to Kave Rad, just turned 18 this month, along with his brother.
Squeeze, hey!
This ball drifts all the way back now. Fake Kavita will take control of the situation.
Well done, lads, well done, lads.
Keep working, Goose, come on!
Here is Sam Fink, captain, leading goal scorer. Good ball inside, and now it's out wide left with Dacres. Left foot across, takes a deflection. Oh, and that one just drifts wide of the far post. Dacres stealing in, gets a touch to it, and he was close to knotting this thing up.
Boy, oh boy, I don't know how he missed. Oh dear, it's probably about 6 yards out. Unfortunately for him, that ball was curving away from the goal. If he'd hit it straight on, that'd have been a goal, but unfortunately, like I said, for him, it curved just away from that far post. And another bullet dodge there for the Rangers. Another opportunity, a great opportunity for St. Louis missed.
Seeing some good success down this left-hand side, St. Louis FC. It's not the first really good cross we've seen come in from the left-hand side. This time it was Kadeem Dacres. Just took a little bit of a deflection as well, I think, that cross. Which made it even more difficult to defend.
Problem those crosses too, because we've had, like you said, 2 of them, and they've both been swinging outwards away from the keeper, so it teases the keeper. The keeper can't go, and it comes back into the forwards. It's just such a great ball for forwards to run onto.
Smith prevents Martz from running onto that one. Hernandez will drift it all the way back now. Smith. Poolskamp making just his 4th start. There's a miscommunication along the back line. And might be a sore one for Reynolds, who might have taken a cleat in the back there from his own teammate. But St. Louis are fortunate that the ball ricocheted to a man in white. And now here they can start the attack. It's Dacres crossing it for Greg. Another golden opportunity for St. Louis FC goes begging.
A great penetrating pass, but a beautiful ball in the box here, because you just picked out Greg, and he couldn't have a better feed. Now, I will tell you that that's not the easiest skill in the world. It's a side volley with a ball slightly behind him, so it's not easy, but knowing the experience of Greg, I would put my money on that being in the back of the net. So another one dodged by the Rangers.
Now Alexander has his clearance blocked by Martz. St. Louis ratcheting up the pressure. Try and shift it from right to left here, Kavita. Some pressure from Alak, and Hilton able to keep things alive under that extreme pressure.
Yes, I got him. Get him, get him. Come in, get him. Come in.
Great ball,
The ball in behind for Dacres. Slots it towards the edge of the box. Alexander coming all the way over from his left back position to snuff out the danger.
Yeah, Rangers going to have to buckle down here, because St. Louis is moving this ball so well. All starting through that man Hilton. He's been very busy in the midfield, and they're having a lot of success down the left flank especially, but also on the right flank too. So they're going to have to knuckle down and keep this ball out, see if they get to the half. It's still up 1-0. It's going to be tough for them, because there's opportunities coming left, right, and centre here.
Fink now, pretending to line up a shot. So he'll withdraw it with his center back partner, and that one just catching Camden Feo on his heels a bit.
That's actually about the 3rd time those two have actually not connected. So I know those two are very disappointed with each other, but fortunately for the Rangers, they didn't connect, because he could have been behind the back knocking in that cross again.
Vanacore-Decker now called for the foul on Kavita. Quickly restarted by the visitors.
Here. KD. Equal it to spin.
Good back tackling from Will Little is able to get possession back for the Rangers. And now Alak. And there's some dissent shown on the near sideline.
And usually when you see that, that's a yellow card. It looks like he's going to dodge it again. I don't mind a referee actually that keeps his cards in his pocket, but you could have quite easily had 2 cards today that are yellow, because normally when you see that on the field, that's the yellow card comes out immediately.
Yeah, two-handed slam of the ball in frustration there, but Kadeem Dacres has found a sympathetic referee here, and it's a moot point in the end. It's a bad throw by Mark Segbers, and that has not drawn praise from his head coach, Paulo Nagamura.
It's not his finest moment, is it? One of the reasons he gave that foul throw was great defending by Greg, because he was cutting off one player in the middle and basically forcing Alexander to throw it there. And yeah, like you said, not his finest moment. Poor throw.
This time, Dacres sees Kuzain streaking forward. He's able to nip back in and get ahead of the Rangers midfielder, win possession back for St. Louis. Camden Feo just seeing that Dacres was offside. It's a little too late there.
Yeah, I think he thought he was off, but the Rangers had a deep, almost a sweeper like, so I think he was actually on. So
Tighter. Don't foul it. Stay on your
Dacres could
feet.
actually play the ball.
Well, you heard the coach say play to the whistle, and he didn't do that. So now here comes Mark Segbers, feeling some pressure on his back. Sprinting away from the defender, and Kavita has to come over and cover for the left back as Mark Segbers barreling forward. Earns a corner kick.
Yeah, here's a foul, and again, that could be a yellow there for pulling back, but that's a tremendous defender coming across there by Fanel. Tremendous, just poking it away, and I think we have a corner kick.
Be the first of the game for the home side.
And we talked about Segbers at the start of the game, and when he gets into this final attacking third, he is extremely dangerous. Just ran out a little bit of real estate there, but did very well to get back past the fullback initially.
Now, could possibly be a left-footed in-swinger from Alexander. It is towards the 6-yard box, and Sam Fink with a powerful header to clear the danger. Rangers will retreat all the way back to the pool scam.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much joy you're going to have in the air with the defenders on St. Louis. That's considerably taller than what the Rangers have.
Entire back line above 6 foot.
And they're all good in the air too. They're not just tall.
And they can add Guy Abend, who's 6 foot in midfield as well. Kyle Gregg, Albert Dikwa. It's a very tall St. Louis team.
The Rangers would be better off maybe looking at short plays or drawn up plays that they've done at practice, but just knocking that ball in the air against the height of St. Louis, I don't think they're going to have much joy today.
Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Some enterprising work by Austin March down the right-hand side.
He's done pretty well today, actually, for his last game. He's coming out with lots of energy, and he's got in behind the fullbacks. He had that chance on the far post, so he's done extremely well. I think he'll be happy with his performance so far, other than the ball not being in the back of the net for St. Louis.
Well, he'll end with this being his 98th career professional appearance between 4 clubs. Spent the first year of his career in Malta, playing for Pembroke Atletico. He went to Wilmington Hammerheads, Orlando City B, and now St. Louis FC to round out his professional career. Alexander has felt the ill effects of that challenge. He's with him and Martz. Like he got the ball, but then maybe just landed on his ankle there.
Yeah, I didn't see too much there. Maybe just, like you said, rolled on his ankle, but really wasn't that bad at all.
Sore one for Alexander, but he's able to get up and dust that one off. Now some pressure handled well by Abend. Coming over on the slide is Kaveh Rad.
They've been dangerous when they get that ball. Feo gets that ball in 1 or 2 touch in behind the back 4. They've always got runners, whether it's Dikwa or Gregg. They've all got runners running in behind that back 4, and they've been very dangerous.
Dacres inside for Dikwa, just a little bit out of the reach of a stretching Guy Abend. And so now here come the Rangers. And Alexander's got some pace and some momentum. He'll slide it in for Mbekele in the penalty area, tripping on the ball, but still alive. Alexander brings it under his control. Oh, what a move that is from the Brazilian. Cuts it back, looking for Vanacore-Decker. It's cut out and played behind for a corner kick.
Yeah, a little nutmeg there from Alexander through the English legs of Hilton. He won't be too happy about that. He sees him coming and just goes beep, right the way through. And not a bad ball in either, but well defended there by the midfield in St. Louis. We got another corner kick.
I needed a full stretch there to defend that cutback. And Felipe Hernandez and Alexander will go over to work this set piece. Center backs up in the area for the Swope Park Rangers. It's Short for Alexander. Back with Hernandez. Around one defender. Alexander on the right foot. Oh, caught that well. Straight down the middle and into grateful chest of Tomas Gomez.
And there's one of the short corners we were talking about. I didn't think they'd go for it because it's 2v2, but that's through Hilton's legs again, unfortunately. You will not want to see this tape over the last couple of minutes, will he? He's had a fantastic game, actually, in the first half. So, but in the last couple of minutes, he's been megged twice, and he won't be happy about that.
Never feels good for a player. 2 times in the last minute or so for Lewis Hilton.
Yeah, but you know, I always tell my players, you don't get goals for Meg, so really it's not that big a deal. Here he is on the ball again. He's been very, very busy this first half.
Just a poor touch by Sean Reynolds on the far side.
Well, we've got a couple minutes before the half here, and if the Rangers could get to half, they'll be very happy with this 1-goal lead, but we're not there yet. Hold on.
Mart's laying it off. There's a right-hand side, crosses over everyone, but Hilton goes and retrieves, and he can slide it back now for Camden Feo. Left-footed cross, looking like a good one. That came off Kyle Gregg in the end, went in the opposite direction. Again, it'll be Camden Feo looking for service with that left foot, curling it towards the back post, kept alive. Dacres can't put that one back into a dangerous area.
Yeah, it's 2 fantastic balls in by Feo. Unfortunately for Greg, the first one was just slightly behind him, and you're right, I think it caught him on the back shoulder, but if that had been a yard further forward, I think you'd have seen Greg putting that in the back of the net this time. But Feo's played 3 or 4 fantastic balls into the box, again on either on a 1 or 2 touch, and they've been very dangerous.
Header one and delivered towards Martz. Tries to cut it back in the middle. Oh, that is a crunching challenge on Kyle Gregg. And now it's a foul as Albert Dacres is upended. I believe that was a yellow card shown.
Yeah, I don't think that was for the challenger, because that challenge was actually clean. He got all ball. I think it's for pulling back Dacres, actually, and that's what he got it for.
Yep, Kave Rad goes into referee's pocketbook. First yellow card of the afternoon. And it was for the foul on Albert Dacres. So the youngster will have to tread carefully for the remainder of this game. We are into stoppage time here in the first half.
This could be a very dangerous situation. I'm not sure who's going to take this, but I'm going to put my money on Hilton. And the question is it going to be a little dink into the box for like a Fink to get onto, or a Greg, or is it going to be a shot?
Plenty of options available to St. Louis FC.
Right here.
It's Camden Feo straight into the wall. He's got a second opportunity. In for Hilton, who's onside. What a save!
Oh, I'm sorry.
Full
I'm sorry, but that is offside there. Oh, where's the VAR when you need it? Because he's standing 3 yards offside there. And maybe it'll show better on here, but here comes his second shot. I mean, I can't tell you from my angle, but he certainly looked 3 or 4 yards offside.
In the end, Pulskamp coming up with a huge save as we are into the 3 minutes of added time. It'll be a corner towards Fink. Still alive in the box, still dangerous. Alak finally hacks it away from the penalty area, and that's a bad hit by Martz, but he goes luckily unpunished for St. Louis. Vanacore-Decker just couldn't quite get a purchase on that one. Greg wins the header into the area, and it's blocked away by Rad. It'll be another corner for St. Louis.
Rangers just want that clock to quickly run down, and again, a great challenge in there by Greg, winning the ball in the air, and here they come again.
Quickly taken. Hilton in towards the keeper, who's just managed to keep that one out. Now Little trying to scramble this one away from Camden Feo. Hilton touching it around Little, but goes to ground, and Little is able to smack that one away.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Fink missed this, because it's a great ball in by Hilton. It's right there. All he's got to do is touch it. All he had to do was touch it, and that was a goal, and he completely mistimed the header.
Clever touch inside from Alexander after a nice flick on by Mbakele, and that'll be a yellow card for Martz, who just couldn't quite keep up with Alexander there on the breakaway.
Definite yellow card, but you know what? Austin Martz, that's probably a very, very good foul, because that could have been extremely dangerous for St. Louis. Breakaway, it's like a 2 against 2 or 3 against 3, and that's what I guess you call a professional foul, and I think he'll take the yellow on that one.
Professional foul in his last game as a professional. He doesn't have to worry about yellow card accumulation.
That's a nice little gift for your last game here. Have a yellow card.
Yep. I think you're right there, Doug. Coach would have appreciated that. Breaking up the counter-attacking options for the Swope Park Rangers. Oh, it's a hot one here in Kansas City, and it's been hotly contested between these two rivals. Swope Park Rangers leading from a Felipe Hernandez goal in the first half. It's 1-0 at halftime. SPR over St. Louis FC. Stick with us. We'll be right back for all the stats and analysis from this first half at Children's Mercy Park. Welcome back to Children's Mercy Park. Halftime score, Swope Park Rangers leading by 1-0 over St. Louis FC. Well, of course, we are here at Children's Mercy Park, and it's been a lovely partnership between Children's Mercy Hospitals, Sporting Kansas City, and the Swope Park Rangers. And there was a nice surprise from the people over at Children's Mercy for Graham Zusi the last time he went for his normal volunteering hours at Children's Mercy Hospitals.
so excited to be a part of this because to us, every time you come, you're an all-star. So we were so excited to be able to present this great news for you.
Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. You'll make me cry. It's amazing. It really is. Made me quite emotional seeing the kids and nurses that help so much. Just made quite a special occasion for me.
What a cool moment for Graham Zusi to get his All-Star nomination delivered to him by the kids he works with just about at least once a month, if not more. Was one of the Volunteers of the Month last season, and that was the first time a professional athlete had gotten that award at Children's Mercy Hospital. So cool for Graham Zusi, and cool for him to be an All-Star in his hometown as well, as the All-Stars will take on Atletico Madrid in Orlando, Florida in MLS later on in July. Meanwhile, here at Children's Mercy Park, it's a really entertaining matchup between the Swope Park Rangers and St. Louis FC. 1-0 to score at halftime, and we'll be right back with stats around the league.
2 decades, San Diego has been waiting for a professional soccer club it can call its own. Now led by leading soccer executive and co-founder of Sacramento Republic FC, Warren Smith, and legendary United States men's national team player Landon Donovan, its club has arrived. The USL Championship is coming to the University of San Diego's Torero Stadium, bringing all the excitement of the fastest growing league in North America to one of the top soccer markets in the United States.
All right, gentlemen. I don't think we need to kind of review what this game means, but it is a really important opportunity for us. I think it's an important opportunity for you guys in a lot of ways. Goal is to advance in the U.S. Open Cup by beating Cincinnati. It is that simple. Any questions? Let's go, gentlemen. Let's go. It's more than just the two clubs. There's a bit of an angst between the cities, quite frankly. You can feel it.
There's just so much on the line. We're in the 3rd year now of seeing FC Cincinnati with, you know, a lot of big moments that have happened and history built up.
Last year we came here twice and we won both games. Dealing with the crowd, the pressure, I think is one advantage that we'll have as we've dealt with it.
4th round of the 2019 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, the site of the renewal of one of the great budding rivalries in U.S. soccer, FC Cincinnati. Now the big dog from Major League Soccer hosting Louisville City FC, a rainy Nippert Stadium, the perfect place, Lorena, to renew the River City rivalry.
Sam Warner, the beauty.
Jamal Johnson, he only knows bangers.
Look at Taylor moving up.
And Taylor, what a beautiful strike. Are you kidding? Jamal Johnson from distance. Yes. Oh, yes. A great save from C.J. Cochran.
Welcome back into Children's Mercy Park. Halftime between Swope Park Rangers and St. Louis FC. Take a look at the standings as Rangers trying to get off the bottom of the Eastern Conference and trying to get that 2nd win as well.
Yeah, the points are close, so a couple wins, and they've got the next 5 out of 6 games at home. Pick up 3 or 4 of those, and they could at least get back in somewhat of the hunt for the playoffs.
While St. Louis just in the playoffs as it stands right now and trying to move up the standings. And they've got a couple teams ahead of them that have played several more games than them, so try and make use of those games in hand. take a look at the halftime stats between these two teams, and St. Louis just edging it in possession, but it's been a pretty even matchup so far in this rivalry matchup.
Yeah, it's been even, but look at the shots, 12-7, and they've had some extremely good opportunities that they have not finished, so they'll be upset that they're behind here 1-0, but there you go, the Rangers will be really happy.
Taking a look at, you alluded to it, Doug McClagan, it's a busy home slate in July for the Swope Park Rangers, as next weekend they'll host Tampa Bay Rowdies. Such an incredible season so far for the Rowdies. They've got games against Hartford, Ottawa, Charleston Battery. That could be a decent rematch with the Charleston Battery after last weekend's 1-1 draw out in Charleston, and that was a fiery encounter between the two teams.
Yeah, absolutely, but you know, those 5 out of 6, they're not easy games, any of them, are they? So it's nice to be at home, but they'll have some really tough games.
Let's take a look around the league, as you can go to USLChampionship.com and vote on the Fans' Choice Midseason Awards. Felipe Hernandez up for Young Player of the Midseason, I guess you would call it. Go up there and vote for him, as he got his 8th goal of the season so far. We've seen that 2 USL Championship teams are still alive in the US Open Cup, including this very St. Louis FC team. They'll play Atlanta United in the next round. Meanwhile, New Mexico making a dream run in their debut season, as they will take on Minnesota United in the round of 16. And Chandler Hoffman for Birmingham with the Fans' Choice Goal of the Week in the USL Championship. Let's take a look at that goal from Chandler Hoffman.
Possession back only momentarily. Here's Hoffman. Hoffman, top of the area. Chandler Hoffman.
Fantastic goal by Chandler Hoffman. Little hesitation move to freeze the defender, and then just bent it into the far side netting. Great goal.
And for the first time in USL.
Welcome back to Children's Mercy Park. 1-0 the score between the Swope Park Rangers and St. Louis FC. Some fans enjoying it out here despite the hot conditions in Kansas City, Kansas. And it was some hot first half action as well between these two teams. So we can take a look at first half highlights. Good early chance for St. Louis on the back post here. And a stunned Lewis Hilton after his shot was blocked by his teammate.
Great defending by Greg. Look at that. Tremendous. Oops, he's gone the wrong way.
Hilton thought he scored there, not for his own teammate. We've seen them have some joy down this left-hand side, St. Louis FC.
Great ball in, great header. Unfortunately, the post got in the way.
Wonderful header there from Kyle Gregg, and smacks off the post, and just about a minute later, Cousin winning the ball back in midfield, and he lays it off for Felipe Hernandez.
That's that turnover, and then pick your spot. I'm going right down there, and you can't stop me. Tremendous finish.
What a finish from Felipe Hernandez for his 8th goal of the season, really carrying this Swope Park Rangers team at times. And McKaylee also doing some good work, dipping in between 2 players, and then another chance for St. Louis on the left-hand side.
Yeah, not sure how he missed this one, but like I said, the ball was spinning away, and came away from the far post, and a great opportunity there.
Vanacore-Decker just going wide there. A couple of good opportunities for St. Louis FC in the first half, and got a halftime substitution as well. It's the captain being withdrawn, Sam Fink, going out of the game. He'll be replaced by Paris G. So a change along the back line for St. Louis FC.
I wonder if that's an injury, because Fink usually does not come off the field. Of course, they've played a lot of games recently, so it could be a little fatigue too, but not a normal sub, so we'll see how that back line shuffles a little bit, because I believe Guy is more of a fullback, but maybe he'll move into that centre-back role. We'll find out early here.
You're spot on, Doug McLagan. Sam Fink has played every minute of all 13 games in the USL coming into this game here today. He's withdrawn at halftime. Maybe the heat having something to do with that as well, and you mentioned it, a lot of games for St. Louis FC in the recent past, and got a few games coming up as well, including that matchup with Atlanta United in the Open Cup. We'll see if Paris G can add something to this St. Louis side, who are trailing by 1 goal at halftime.
And it looks like Reynolds might slot into that centre-back position, and Guy will come to right back. Again, that's the way they're set up for the kickoff. That can change quite quickly, but look at that for a kickoff. They've got like 4 people lined up for the big ball in. Only it didn't come in.
Completely faked out there. The pressure from Vanacore-Decker making Kavita pull it back, and that play to start this second half doesn't quite come off perhaps the way they wanted, or maybe that was a decoy from St. Louis FC. They start with the ball, going from left to right in their all whites. Swope Park Rangers in the dark blue and orange trim. Kavita finding Paris G, not finding Paris G along the near side, and yeah, it looks like you're right, Doug. Looks like he's going to slot in at right fullback, and Sean Reynolds will drop into the center back position normally occupied by Sam Fink. Here is Sean Reynolds, who was the Gulf South Conference Player of the Year in 2011 at University of West Florida. Played a season in Iceland. I think this is perhaps not the conditions he would have seen in that year up in Iceland.
From Iceland to Kansas City. 2 different ends of the continuum right there.
Brad senses the danger there, is able to knock away the attempted back heel by Vanacore-Decker. St. Louis will now start it again from the throw-in. Again, 5-3-5. 20 points in 10th place coming into this game, St. Louis FC. Decent worked attack there, and it's just prodded away and trickles on the wrong side of the corner flag if you're the Swope Park Rangers. The right side if you're St. Louis FC. They've got a corner here early on in the second half.
Yeah, nice quick ball movement there from St. Louis. Out to the fullback, into the midfield, out to the forward, and it just poked away by Graham Smith, I think. And yeah, corner kick in the first minute of the second half.
Lewis Hilton comes over to take this corner. High into the back post and went out of play as well. You can hear some shouts from the players, and it is given by the near side AR. Bit of a disappointing delivery there from Lewis Hilton, who was all over the pitch in that first half for St. Louis FC, picking up a lot of the ball.
Yeah, you'd think St. Louis has got an advantage on those set pieces with the height they have, and not good for Hilton there not being able to get the ball into the box.
Well, it was a decent first half as far as the Swope Park Rangers are concerned, dealing with the height, dealing with the delivery. They had 19 clearances in that first half.
Yeah, there is a big disadvantage, no question about that, but you're right, the Rangers have defended it very well. They've got lucky on a few times, a little post and a misses here, but they've done very well, and they're going to have to continue for the next 45 minutes doing well, because I think there'll be more to come for sure.
It could fall to Vanacore-Decker. No, he's offside anyway, and Kavita had gotten there ahead of him. But referee's flag goes up and whistle blown, so St. Louis can start with possession. Here's Lewis Hilton. That pass is cut out easily by Emma Cayley. For Cousin, cutting it onto the left foot. Cousin has a go. Oh, testing the goalkeeper there. Gomez has to pounce up, dive on the rebound as after the attempt by Juan Cousin.
Yeah, very, very good effort. You know, you could see he wanted to get out to his left. Not sure if it was on target. It might just have been missing, but still, keeper doesn't know that for sure. So a good save going to his right there. But he struck that very well. You could see him. And what the problem could have been, he put some bend on it, so it may have been coming in. And so, yeah, very good save by the keeper.
Didn't want to take any chances at all there. Tomas Gomez is...
Looks like we have an
injury here, and Guy Abend is trotting slowly off the field. So there'll be a forced change here for St. Louis FC. Checking in, Oscar Umar. So 2 changes right at the start of the second half for St. Louis FC on what is a very hot and humid day here in Kansas City.
And that's pretty much a straight swap there. Oscar Umar's been playing pretty much the whole season in that central midfield alongside Hilton, so shouldn't be a big problem for St. Louis. Be coming in with fresh legs and a lot of experience too.
Graham Smith ruled to have fouled Albert Dacres, just crashing into the back of the St. Louis forward, so it's a set piece for the visitors just beyond the center circle. They've brought their center backs into the equation here. St. Louis FC clipped over the back line. Won really nicely by St. Louis, but offside as Kyle Gregg just trying to stand that one up for him on the back post and head straight into an offside position.
Yeah, it was a good ball in, and you can see how good Gregg is in the air. He won that quite comfortably, but must have gone just a little bit early. He caught offside. Nice ball in there by Martz.
Yeah, it must have been a tight decision there. We are back underway from the goal kick, and it's another foul. They're starting to pile up here for the Swope Park Rangers.
And that's not what the Rangers really need to do in this final third, is give them free kicks with the area advantage they have. We just saw Gregg win one quite comfortably. Fennell's up there now. I mean, they've got some height. If they continue to do this, sooner or later, St. Louis is going to take advantage of one of these set pieces. Hilton's going to deliver again, and he delivers a very, very good ball into that box, curving away from the goalkeeper. It's going to be an in-swinger, or sorry, an out-swinger. He's going to in-swing it with the inside of his right foot, curving away from the goalkeeper, which will cause him some problems.
March runs over. It is Hilton towards the back post and past everyone and out of play.
Yeah, he'd want that one back. A little bit too deep on the cross there. Runs straight out for a goal kick.
Well, he had a storied playing career, the young Englishman at Young Harris College in Georgia. 80 appearances, 25 goals, and 30 assists. Not a bad return from midfield.
Midfield position, that's a great return. You can see he works his tail off in midfield. He's very aggressive. He likes the ball at his feet. He likes to complain at referees a bit too, but that's part of the game. But I think he's been very, very good today.
Had 6 assists last season for St. Louis, which was a single-season club record. He leads the team so far this year with 2, as they have had some struggles on the offensive end. St. Louis, just the 16 goals. They'll need one here if they want to get anything from this game. Swope Park Rangers leading through the first half goal by Felipe Hernandez. It's been a lot of St. Louis FC here in the second half. Kavita on for the halftime substitute, G. Pressure from Hernandez, and it forces a errant pass. Kavita does well to clip that over Mbakele into G. Good return from Greg, and now G near the end line tries to get the cross away, and he had plenty of white shirts in the area as well, Paris G.
Yeah, great work, great combination to get into that position, and then really a poor cross, because like you say, numbers were in the box waiting for that to come in. But poor cross in the end from G.
They've got some guys with some interesting professional experiences here at St. Louis FC. We talked about Martz, who played in Malta. Talked about Reynolds playing in Iceland, and Paris G played a year in Croatia's second division, straight out of college, before coming back over stateside. It's a good ball in, ball from the left side, and Kave Rad facing his own goal. Has to concede the corner, but decent clearance by the young center back for the Swope Park Rangers.
Yep, absolutely, and just have to be in the correct spot at the correct time, and that's a very good clearance. I mean, the best thing to do is just put it out there.
The set pieces are coming thick and fast for St. Louis FC here in the second half. It's again Hilton towards the near post. Greg gets the flick on, and it just drifts out of play and out of bounds for a goal kick.
Yeah, interesting on that set piece there. You've got basically the Rangers in 7 or 8 players just sitting in a zone inside that box, covering every possible area. Yeah, good little flick on there by Greg, but nothing came of it.
Alak trying to get on the ball here. Rangers haven't seen much of it in the opening 10 minutes of this second half. Rad sliding it forward for Hernandez, trying to dip and dive around Reynolds, who has enough pace in the end. Gets there ahead of Hernandez and now clips it upfield. Strong challenge from Hilton. He's able to maintain possession for the visitors. Another one of those guys that's played a ton of minutes this season, Lewis Hilton, all but 6 minutes.
It's a very experienced St. Louis team, and in the end, that's probably going to be a problem for the Rangers, because they'll be patiently knocking that ball around just like they're doing right now, looking to create opportunities in behind that back four. They're going to get chances. The question is whether they finish it or not. And that, like you said, has been their problem. Not scored a lot of goals. That's again great defending by Rad, actually. That's twice now he's been in front of the forward in a good position just to clear the ball. Unfortunately, it does lead to another corner kick. So they're just going to have to defend very, very well here.
That'll allow for some reinforcements from Paulo Nagamura, as this is an interesting change. We'll have to see how this changes the shape of the team, as it's Camden Riley, who's started 13 consecutive games before finding a place on the bench here today. He's more of a defensive midfielder, played center back. He's coming on for Will Little.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do here, because that's definitely not a straight swap there. So whether they're changing to a 4-4-2 or whether, well, let's see what they do here, because there's many options. He's definitely not going into that left wing or right wing position, that's for sure.
First thing he has to do is slot in and defend this corner. Curled in by Hilton. Might have been Riley that got ahead to it as well.
I think it was.
Hussein. Oh, he's undone by a wonderful touch, and now a cutback that just strays away from his St. Louis teammate. Out for Reynolds on the far side. Trying to get around Vanacore-Decker. He's done well, Reynolds, and he keeps possession, plays it back now with Kavita. Umar. Coming on a dime, and he plays it to Hilton, who's shouting for the ball on the near side. G. Dequel, he lays it up for Martz. Finding room for a left-footed cross up for Greg. It's a good flick on into the danger zone, and Riley comes over. But in the end, it's just a miss-hit by Kadeem Dacres.
Yeah, I guess he did enough to put him off balance there. Another good ball in, and it got around the back. He just put enough pressure. His first touch wasn't where he wanted, and he just, like you said, he whiffed on the ball.
Fans follow the Rangers and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN Plus, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. Well, we're into the 60th minute here. Half an hour to play.
Right now, it looks like Camden Riley's gone to a right-back position and Segbers has moved. And it is more of a 4-5-1 now. So Segbers is playing that right midfield position, and Mbakele's the left midfield. And you got Camden Riley on the right, and then the Rad, Smith, and Alexander, the other three remaining on the back four.
Interesting substitution there from Paulo Nagamura.
Well, definitely become a little bit more defensively minded, because you're going to assume that Mark Segbers, as a defender, is going to defend a little bit better than a Will Little.
It's a slow pass back for Poolskamp. Played over to Graham Smith. And the layoff from Hernandez goes into the feet of Martz, but he's able to recover possession. Martz, though, blocks the clearance, and Greg now has got the ball in a dangerous position. Using his strength to see off Alexander, trying to cut it inside, and Hernandez sliding into the way, but it's another corner kick for St. Louis FC.
Knocks that out for a corner, but when he received that in the midfield, he possibly could have gone the other way and linked up with Alak, and Alak could have got out there, but he came back into the same area, and the ball turned over, and now we got another corner kick for St. Louis.
Hilton again to take.
Come on. Mark.
Big deep side. He steps forward, delivers the ball, headed away, but edge of the area. Left-footed attempt by Dacres is wide, and no trouble at all whatsoever for John Poolskamp.
A good clearance there by Mbakele. So, you know, that's your forward getting up there and winning. They had 10 players in the box, all sitting in zones. And it's going to take all 10 of defending here for the next 30 minutes here for Rangers to come out with a result, I think. They're going to be under the weather for sure.
Riley tries to flick this one on. Martz read the play well. That's with Alexander.
Stay on your feet.
And Mbakele is seen off by Paris G. So the Rangers go all the way back with Poolskamp. Just trying to get a little bit of possession here. Rad looking for Vanacore-Decker. And they'll trickle all the way back to the goalkeeper. Oscar Umar came on as a substitute. Finds a good ball for Martz. Here is Umar, who came through the Right to Dream Academy, such a wonderful program in Ghana. Seen a lot of players have successful careers in North America thanks to the Right to Dream Academy. It's a poor pass from Reynolds, and under no pressure, he's giving it away. That allows the Rangers to push up a little bit, but Riley's pass is intercepted. And Segbers having to do some defending. Nothing given by the referee on that challenge. Heard the scream on the far side by Dacres. Play continues. The Rangers in possession. Dacres picking himself up off the field. Alak trying to get the turn, and it's a clear foul against Kyle Gray. It's a quick dip of the shoulder there from Alak to get in an advantageous position and beat Kyle Gray.
Here's what the Rangers are going to have to do this second half. Is what they're doing here in the last couple of minutes. They're going to have to keep the ball for long periods of time. They cannot defend for 45 minutes. So when they get the ball, they're going to have to take care of it. And that's going to be real tough, because I guarantee the St. Louis pressure is going to be in their face as much as they can. They're coming after them, and they want 3 points today. They don't want to come away with a tie. I guess they'll be somewhat happy with the tie, but they're really looking for 3 points today, St. Louis.
Kavita over towards G, who nutmegs Mbakele and has to wear a foul from the Cameroonian winger. Paris G, who's got his birthday coming up next week, day after July 4th. Turn 25 next week. The former Vancouver Whitecaps youth prospect. Here he is making a darting run. The ball just couldn't quite beat Graham Smith, who had taken up a wonderful position. And now G trying to exchange passes. Albert Dacres wanted a foul. Nothing given, and Segbers has some space on the right-hand side for a possible counter. Segbers charging forward. It's Mark Segbers going for goal, and that one doesn't test Tomas Gomez.
He did very well, actually, going at him one-on-one. Beat him, got him around the outside, but didn't really hit the shot very well at all. But like you said, Paris G just made an excellent run from outside to in. A little switch with him and Martz. And the ball, unfortunately, for them, did not get there, but it was a beautiful run. And if it would have got there, could have caused some major problems getting in between the left back and the left centre back.
Well, that challenge had to be won, and it was. Graham Smith first intercepting the pass, and then strong tackle. Alak being commended by Paulo Nagamura on the near sideline. Also being helped there in possession. Here, Paulo Nagamura barking orders throughout the game.
This is where they keep possession, and they can save their legs a little bit here and make St. Louis do a little bit of running instead of them running for 45 minutes. So definitely needed here. They've just got to be careful that they don't turn it over in the final third. So making good decisions and getting in those gaps where they can receive the ball, and then, just like here, distributing it to the left back and creating a little bit of space. So good work with the ball there, Swope Park Rangers.
Again, it is a stiflingly hot day here. Will definitely be a factor here as this game continues to progress. And Mbakele will step over. Thought he had the overlap. He does eventually get it from Alexander, but his cross is blocked by Kavita, takes all the sting off of it, bounces into the arms of Gomez.
Yeah, it was a trouble for him to get there. He didn't really know the ball was coming, and then it's just a struggle to get there, and he did his best to get that cross off. But yeah, he was always going to be struggling to get there.
Switch, we need to get a switch.
Here, Pulis on the sideline wanting a switch from his team. Eventually get it over to the left-hand side. Now clipped in behind, and that's Dacres. Oh, he stops on the ball brilliantly and elects to shoot. Just didn't get much behind it, so it's an easy save in the end for Pulskamp.
Yeah, did well to get inside, but like you said, there was nothing on that shot. There was no problem for Pulskamp to pick up. And it is a game of strategy here. Like you said, you hear Pulis. They've got to keep the ball moved from side to side, make the Rangers defense move, create some gaps that they can penetrate. And then, you know, for the Rangers, they've got to stop them from going from side to side, and they've got to make sure that ball stays in front of them and doesn't get in behind, unlike that last ball in, again, by the left fullback, Feo, that found the centre forward in behind the back four. So it's like a game of chess here. It's interesting to watch.
Still 1-0 here in the 69th minute. Swope Park Rangers leading from a Felipe Hernandez goal. There's a clumsy slip of a challenge, won in the end by Martz. St. Louis again will try and build from the back. Hilton. Good step by Rad, but it's still alive for St. Louis. It's an opportunity. Palmed away by Poolskamp. Good chance there from St. Louis, straight down the middle. Kadeem Dacres sees his shot saved by the Swope Park Rangers backstop.
And that was great play with Dacres. He made 2 or 3 passes, little combinations. But while that was, look at that, that's fantastic. Great player, but look at that for a save. That's a strong left hand that kept that out of the goal.
Scoops the rebound away from danger as well. John Poolskamp, the 18-year-old, making just his 4th appearance. And this will be another set piece in a dangerous position for St. Louis.
So Hilton's on the ball. His last service in for the free kick was a little bit too long. So now he's got another opportunity maybe to get that right distance, and you've got to watch for Greg pulling towards the far post. You've got Fennell in there. You've got some dangerous bodies, but very good in the air here.
Hilton and Martz again standing over this one. Referee blows his whistle. Martz runs over it. It'll be Hilton curling it towards the back post. Vanacore-Decker able to just about see off the aerial prowess of Fanuel Kavita, and it's out for a corner.
Yeah, good defending, good strength there, but the ball was slightly behind Fennell, so Decker got there to it first, but did very well as a centre forward defending there. Way to be strong on the ball, but look, you see the ball's just slightly behind the attacker.
Lewis Hilton has gotten quite a few opportunities to deliver set piece deliveries. Here he is in towards the near post. It's Vanacore-Decker up into the sky, and it's a foul in the end against Kavita.
Yeah, great win again by Decker. We got a little bit hit late there by Kavita, and we got a water break coming.
Water break here in the 71st minute. It's a hot one in Kansas City. 91 degrees at kickoff. 99 is the feels like temperature. It's a really sticky day here. And still most of the field draped in sunlight. Be a substitution perhaps during this water break, as Sean Karani will be checking into the game. So the Swope Park Rangers. I believe he will be replacing Jerome Mbakele, who I'd like to confirm was the man that went into the referee's pocketbook just a moment ago. He's got a yellow card here, Jerome Mbakele.
I think that's just a sub to bring on some fresh legs. You've got 20 minutes left. And we've seen this a few games this year where it comes to the last 20 minutes. You've got a really experienced team here against a young, somewhat inexperienced Swope Park Rangers team. And this is where it's going to be crucial. That last 20 minutes, winning the right challenges, making the right decisions, and not making small errors that can give your game away. Because we've seen in the last 20 minutes in some of the games this year where they've been ahead and they end up tying a game. In some of those games, they've lost those games. So this last 20 minutes is absolutely crucial for concentration and for strong defending.
Swope Park Rangers trying to see this one out and get just their 2nd win of the 2019 season. That's most of their damage at home so far, 7 of their 9 points. And again, this is the first of 5 of 6 at home for the Swope Park Rangers in a busy month of July.
This would be a massive confidence build too. Only won 1 game. You get a win here against, you know, a rival like St. Louis, and it's so far been a very, very good defensive performance. If they can hold this out and come away with 3 points, well, yeah, they'll be walking with their heads tall after this. Like you say, 5 out of the next 6 at home. You just never know. Maybe they could turn things around and get themselves further up that table.
Could be the perfect start to this homestand for the Swope Park Rangers. We saw there Sean Karani still getting some late instructions from Paolo Nagamura on the bench. So Mbekele still in the game, and here he is retrieving the ball to take this throw in. Nope, he's going to allow the left back Alexander to trot his way up the pitch. Well, we've seen the Rangers make some runs over their years. See if they still got it. Mid-season review on USLChampionship.com giving the Rangers a 2% chance at the playoffs at this point, propping up the table in the Eastern Conference.
Well, this would probably, if they did do that, be their best run ever, I would guess. But you never know. Funny things happen in soccer, and well, it takes a couple of wins, get your confidence, and anything can happen. So on comes Karani, and he's got some tremendous pace. He's going to have some freshness, and maybe they might be able to catch St. Louis on a breakaway, transitional breakaway with his pace. But like I said, he's bringing on a fresh pair of legs, and they're going to need it for this last 20 minutes for sure. Great job, Mbekele, by the way.
A young pair of fresh legs as well. The 18-year-old Sean Karani from Wichita, Kansas, coming on for his 10th appearance of the season, 6th sub appearance. There's a clever move from Paris G, sitting Felipe Hernandez on his backside.
But he had nothing on, so I like that. He turned around and just kept possession because it wasn't on to go forward. That's the experience he's got there.
It's led to this opportunity for St. Louis. Greg out to the left-hand side. It's stood up in the penalty area. Knotted down. Alert to it was Ayub Alak, and he's able to get that out from a crowd of white shirts right around the penalty area. Zane barking for it, and then standing this one up for Segbers. He's got a run on the left back. Segbers cutting it back for Karani. Edge of the area. He has a go. It's deflected. Oh, and just wide.
Ball, yeah.
It'll be a corner, but inches away for Sean Karani.
Great ball in, first of all, by Kuzane. Then Segbers took it down very well. Square ball to the top of the box. And a great strike that took a deflection. But the keeper was scrambling to that far post. He swore it was on target. We have a corner kick here. We're probably going to look maybe short, but there's not much advantage in height there.
Watch this space.
But St. Louis has sent two. It just makes it harder to go that short corner when they send two out there.
So Hernandez delivers into the box. Smith gets a good leap to it, but he's adjudged to have fouled Kyle Gregg, doing the aerial duel on the other side of the pitch for this time.
Two hands on the back, but it didn't look too much to me.
Now allow for the final substitution of the game for Anthony Pulis in the St. Louis side, and they bring off Kyle Gregg. Hit the post in the first half. Kyle Gregg still searching for his second goal of the season. Played locally at Benedictine College, pretty close here, Atchison, Kansas. He's replaced by Caleb Calvert, who has 1 goal on the season, this being his 9th appearance for St. Louis.
I thought Gregg had a very good game. The only thing is he will be judged. He's a forward on goals scored, and he probably could have scored a couple goals today, and he'll be disappointed with that. But I thought he had a very, very good game up front today.
Throwing deep in the attacking half for St. Louis. G gets it back, curls it in towards the back post. Fantastic delivery. And a wonderful header from Kadeem Dacres as he's equalized here. St. Louis FC won. Swope Park Rangers won.
And that's that focus, the concentration, and maybe a little bit of inexperience. A ball, almost like a harmless ball in the box. And I think at the back, Segbers was either unaware of the runner behind him or didn't come to the ball first, and then in comes a beautiful header, but he's a yard in front of him, and he should be, Segbers should be on the other side of him, and that's unfortunate for Rangers because they've done very, very well today. But again, I told you in this last 20 minutes it was going to be a tough road.
As you mentioned, straight from the throw. Simple enough play along the near side. Paris G getting his first assist of the season. Dacres getting his second goal of the season. And we have a 1-1 game here in Kansas City, and you can see St. Louis sprinting back to the center circle to get things restarted. They want to go for all 3 points here.
Oh yeah, they're coming after 3 now, and having said that, what a great header at the far post, but again, a fantastic ball in. And they've played those balls in all day from the wide positions, curving away from the keeper where the keeper can't get to it. And fair dues, what a fantastic header. And probably deserved for St. Louis. But you're right, they're coming after 3 now. 1 will not be enough for them.
Go again, go again.
So now how do the Swope Park Rangers respond after holding on to a lead for just about an hour? Got just over 10 minutes of regular time here. Hernandez cutting into some space. Felipe Hernandez, he'll have another goal from distance, and Tomas Gomez was scrambling and sprawling to his left there. That is a terrifying sight for USL goalkeepers. Felipe Hernandez taking aim from distance.
Yeah, he scrambled, but I think the shot was always missing. But again, I mean, look at the swerve on that thing. It started off way in the middle of the goal and then went wide off the left post, but the keeper, like you said, was scrambling.
So the last substitution of the game now for either side, as Mark Cousin's day is done, and he will be replaced by Rasenbek Akhmatov. Cousin getting an assist there on Felipe Hernandez's goal in the first half. His first of the season. Replaced by Akhmatov, who's making his 9th appearance in 2019. Alak just hooks this one forward. It's a calm turn on the chest by Umar. There he is picking it up and trying to splay it over to the left-hand side. Segber's got a toe to it, but it still winds up with St. Louis. Calvert laying it off for Umar. Decent build up there, but in the end snuffed out. And now Rangers have an opportunity to counter. Hernandez wide for Vanacore-Decker. Lays it off for Segbers. Segbers with the cross. It's still alive and buried by Vanacore-Decker. The Swope Park Rangers regain the lead 2-1.
Wow, that was a tremendous ball movement there. And way to hold the ball up, waiting for Segbers to catch up with the overlap. Perfect time of the pass. And they got a little lucky with the ball coming back. What a solid finish into the back of the net. And St. Louis, after doing all that work, have got to be thinking, oh my gosh, what are we going to do now? All started by Hernandez, carrying that ball and just being so patient, waiting for Segbers to catch up. And a great ball in the box. And boy, we got a game in our hands. We've got 8-9 minutes left. And St. Louis is going to come after you now, so you better be ready to defend.
Level for just a matter of minutes. Swope Park Rangers respond with aplomb. A wonderful counter-attacking move. Finished in the end by Ethan Vanacore-Decker. He's got his 2nd goal of the season. And could it mean the 2nd win of the season for the Swope Park Rangers?
It's funny how sometimes that can happen in games. You work and you work and you work and you're behind, and then you tie it up, and all of a sudden you kind of relax because you've done all that work, and bang, they catch you at the other end, and now you're behind again.
It's been a lot of St. Louis FC in this 2nd half. They got the equalizer, but now they'll have to find another one. Fans of USL unveiled its elite youth platform, USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop their local youth and compete at the highest level across the United States, including the USL Academy Cup. For more information, Visit uslsoccer.com/academy. Miscommunication there from Vanacore-Decker and Alak, and it's dumped into the corner where he was not running. So it's back now with St. Louis FC.
Yeah, he's done a lot of running today, and he did not want that ball into space. He wanted to feet. I don't blame him. He's really worked hard today up front. That's a lot of cover, a lot of ground.
Need a nice bath after the conditions here in Kansas City today. Stood up for Calvert. He's done well to hold off Rad, who wants a foul. Several Rangers players asking for a foul. In the end, Smith comes over and might have a little bit of cramp to deal with as he put that out for a corner kick.
Yeah, and that was smart play actually by Caleb Calvert, because he was slightly behind Rad, and he knew that if he just stood in the way, Rad couldn't move, and so Rad couldn't get up for the header, and that's where Rad's asking for foul. But I don't really think there was a foul there, and that's why we have a corner kick.
Graham Smith still trying to stretch this one out. Caleb Calvert, youngest ever homegrown for Chivas USA. May they rest in peace. We'll try and get up for this corner kick. It's Lewis Hilton. Curling one in towards the near post. Rad is there to head it back towards the corner of the box. Hilton now trying to create space, and it's Segbers hacking this one out of play.
That's a great ball in, but that's a great clearance too. Just put your foot on it, make sure it goes out, and even better for a throw in instead of a corner. But Graham Smith going down with cramp is not a good sign, because Swope Park Rangers have no subs left.
They don't want their captain, central defender either to be withdrawn. This
wow, I'm not sure about that one.
It's a foul given, and Kadeem Dacres is beside himself.
I don't blame him, because I don't think he touched Riley here. They're just battling for the ball. He pushed it through his legs. They're battling for the ball. Yeah, I don't think that's a foul. I really don't.
It looked like Riley was already falling by himself, and Dacres actually did well to get around his falling to the turf. So fortunate call for the home side. Dacres was in a good position after that duel. Alak again just hooking this one into the sky. Akhmatov. Pinball here in midfield, and Riley's able to finally bring it down under control. Looking for Vanacore-Decker. Well intercepted in the end by Reynolds.
Yeah, not a bad idea, but you know, it might have been better just to knock the ball out wide to Segbers and keep possession and run a few seconds off the clock instead of going for the big pass. Of course, if it comes off, then it's a great pass, but that one did not.
Good take there by Dikwa. He's kept it for St. Louis. Now it's wide left with Camden Feo. Delivery is an easy one for Rad to deal with. And he's actually stood it up and given Vanacore-Decker a chance, but that chance was wiped away by Fanuel Kavita. Everyone behind the center circle for the Swope Park Rangers trying to see this one out. We're into the 88th minute here at Children's Mercy Park. Vanacore-Decker, good first touch, and he's getting commended by Paul Nagamura, and that's a lovely ball to switch play as well. Segbers charging forward. He's got Karate in the area. Akhmatov trying to find Rosenbeck Akhmatov, and it's hooked clear by Sean Reynolds.
What a great ball by Ethan Vanacore-Decker. That was like a 70-yard split all the way for Segbers to get down. That took some time off the clock. Good cross in the box, and now the ball's out of bounds, and the Rangers are in no rush to go pick up the ball and throw it in.
Certainly taking their time here, trying to hold on for dear life. Get 3 points, maybe some momentum in this season. Akhmatov, left foot across. Headed out by G. Alexander coming forward onto his right foot, and that one harmlessly out of play.
You said it right there. He's got a beautiful left foot. Don't get me wrong, but his right is not his strength. He probably, again, could have held on to that and kept possession, but You never know, sometimes you hit them and they're in the back of the net. So you don't score if you don't shoot.
There's a push in the back given by the referee. Caleb Calvert doesn't like it. And now Alex got some cramp to deal with as well. We'll tune in to ESPN3 on July 3rd at 10 p.m. Central Time for Wednesday Night Soccer and watch as two of the premier clubs out west duel for playoff positioning as Sacramento Republic FC welcomes Fresno FC in the Highway 99 Derby. Catch all the action July 3rd at 10 p.m. Central on ESPN3. Got a derby of our own hands here across the state.
Second ball.
Along I-70. St. Louis coming over to Kansas City. And the Swope Park Rangers into the 90th minute. Just 1 minute plus added time away from getting revenge here this season. 3-1 in the first meeting back in St. Louis a couple months ago.
And this is where they've really got to be careful with the ball. So long ball here will be good. Now go fight for that. Can put some pressure on him. There you go, right there.
There it is, Vanacore-Decker picking it up. But the challenge won crucially by Camden Feo.
That's a yellow card right there. Oh, a little pushing and shoving there. That could be probably Kavita. Oh,
red card for Felipe Hernandez.
It should go to both of them if that's the case.
It's a yellow card for Mark Segbers. And Felipe Hernandez is sent off. Swope Park Rangers down to 10 men, and they're still pleading their case about the St. Louis FC player involved in that little tussle.
Yeah, and he's checking with the linesman. The linesman has got to tell him that they're both involved then. If it's a red to one, it's... Oh, dear, really?
It's a yellow card for Camden Feo.
I'm shocked there, because Feo actually walked the 10, 15 yards towards Hernandez to start that, I thought, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, so... well, that's the problem right there, is maybe a little push to the chest. Maybe that's not red, but when you slap someone in the face, that's where it goes red.
That is certainly a red card on Felipe Hernandez, right in front of the referee as well.
Yeah, so I take back what I said. That's probably the right call, and Fennell probably got Kavita got away with a yellow. And now it's 11 v 10 again. And we got 2 or 3 minutes left on the clock here.
I believe that was Camden Feo, actually.
Oh, was it Feo? Sorry, my bad.
Get the yellow card there. And this will not be a welcome sight for the Swope Park Rangers bench and the players on the field. Now down to 10 men, and they've got 7 minutes of added time to deal with here. Quickly laid off by the goalkeeper and hoofed into the area. Into the area now. An opportunity for St. Louis. It's blocked away. And Kave Rad with a big-time scream back to his teammates after he gets that block.
Oh dear, they're getting mad at the ball boy now. They're not getting the ball back on the field quick enough, so you got to be ready to defend here, Rangers.
Curled in towards the edge of the 6 and just over. And that was actually over from a Swope Park Rangers player. There'll be another corner kick here.
It's going to be a long 7 minutes, isn't it?
Already into 2 of those 7 minutes. After that, Fracas took some time to deal with. Now it's another corner kick to deal with. And it's a poor delivery in towards the near post. Riley gets it away. G around 1 defender, but not around 2. There's a chance for a break here, but Riley just smashes it clear.
Yeah, I don't think Riley saw, but there was a 2v1 going there. If he could have found them, they could have been in for a quick breakaway there, but all he's thinking is just get the ball out of here.
Well, Alok's pass is intercepted, but he's able to win back possession, much to the chagrin of St. Louis bench, who thought that was a foul.
Yeah, he just need to keep the ball here.
Akhmatov, wide left with Alexander.
Roll it into Karani. Good.
just manages to get back onto it, Karani. Into the area now, Shot Karani. Back for Akhmatov. He'll have a curling effort. Oh, just over the crossbar from Rosenbeck Akhmatov.
Not bad effort at all there. That couldn't miss, but good job by Karani there, because he went on 1-1, couldn't get past it, so thought, I'll come back, keep possession, and a great effort there. Almost crept in the top corner.
Get up there! Keep taking space! Keep taking space! Come on!
We're halfway through this 7 minutes now.
Ball's coming in long, you know that, right? So get up and fight for it, Rangers.
Ronnie's able to sniff that one out. Poor delivery from the goalkeeper Gomez. And it's headed clear and out of play. This time Reynolds, he'll stand it up in towards the penalty area. Segbers. Some hands up to his teammates because that was going to drift out of play for a goal kick.
There could have been some better communication. I think Postcamp could have come out and got that in his hands, laid down for a few seconds. So hopefully that doesn't come back to bite Segbers here. We've got a corner kick with a few minutes left now.
Another corner kick for the St. Louis FC visitors. Here it is, up towards the back post and out of bounds off of Calvert. It'll be a goal kick.
Great defending there by Smith, and it was good that Smith was on Calvert there. That's the guy you want on.
Poolskamp just taking the air out of the ball here. Swope Park Rangers again down to 10 men. Felipe Hernandez sent off for slap across the face. Bradley Camden-Feo. Now a foul on Sean Karani. This will allow the Rangers to take a few more seconds off the clock.
A little bit of gamesmanship here. How hurt is Karani? I'm not so sure. But he's going to take his time to get up.
The Rangers taking their time over this free kick.
Smith looking for that ball into the corner. That's a ball he wants to play. Yeah. Forces Guy to knock the ball out of bounds, and now he got possession again.
Rangers just over a minute away from their second win on the season. Can Ethan Vanacore-Decker's late goal be a winner? Alexander in for Vanacore-Decker. It's an awkward clearance. Now Alexander does nicely to use his body and regain possession. Another throw in high up the pitch for the Swope Park Rangers.
And the Rangers have had problems closing out games this year, and so far, touch wood, they're doing a really good job of just getting throw-ins, getting fouls, keeping possession, and working that clock down to that final whistle.
Go, 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 go!
Vanacore-Decker trying to play it off a St. Louis player, and he was unable to. Time running out for the visitors. It's a good ball out into some space on the left-hand side. Camden-Feo. Kind of an aimless ball in towards the middle, but it's well dealt with. March trying to get there. He's unable to, and that's the final whistle, and you can see what it means to the Swope Park Rangers as they hold on. The 10 men able to get a victory here against their cross-state rival, St. Louis FC. 2-1 the final score, and Doug McClagan. It was a hard-fought victory for the Swope Park Rangers here today.
Oh, it really was, but well-deserved for them. I mean, yes, St. Louis probably was the better team and maybe deserved the result, but the work that the Rangers put in here, especially in the second half, defending for their lives, was absolutely tremendous. And that's what you need to get those points, and maybe that can lead to something.
Maybe a result to build upon for the Swope Park Rangers. They get all 3 points here at Children's Mercy Park. 2-1, the final score, SPR over St. Louis FC. Stick with us as we'll be right back with all the full-time stats and highlights. full time here in Kansas City, Kansas, Children's Mercy Park. Swope Park Rangers with a big time 3 points as they are able to hold on at the end with 10 men. They defeat St. Louis FC by a score of 2-1 thanks to that man, Vanacore-Decker, getting his second goal of the season. Let's take a look at the final stats from what has been a pretty thrilling encounter here between these two rivals.
Well, the shots, 18-4, you know, I thought St. Louis shots would be far greater than the Rangers, but that's fairly close. But possession does show that St. Louis in the second half really did control most of the second half. But guts and determination from the Rangers got all 3 points today.
Able to hold on, and they win by a score of 2-1. The Swope Park Rangers moving up to 12 points in the 2019 season. Thanks everyone for tuning in. For producer Jordan Burrell, technical director Dan McCaffrey, replay Jason Briley, our wonderful and I'm sure sweaty camera ops, Wyatt Craven, Keith McGuire, Paul Stokes, Joey Reed, A1 Aaron Clark, A2 Nolan Woodford, V1 Jared Salig, graphics wizard Maggie Claire, EIC Brad Zimmerman, for spotter Cannon Cornley, and for Doug McClagan in the booth, I'm Carter Augustine. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time. Final score, Swope Park Rangers 2, St. Louis FC 1.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.